Hey guys, Seafood Les Clements here, Black Dragon Kung Fu. Thanks for watching. So, self-defense is a very serious thing. So when we think about self-defense, we have to think about not being empty-handed. Now, if you have a firearm and you carry a firearm, concealed carry, if you do the training, you go to a range and you shoot, you understand the gun protocol, excellent. Then you know how serious it is. If you are thinking about getting a concealed weapons permit, you don't have a whole lot of understanding about firearms, or if you feel like it's a great equalizer and you want to get one but you're back and forth, think about this. Now, I am a fan of firearms. In specific situations, there's nothing better. So let me say that right away. There's other situations where it could mean your end. You could be in a lot of trouble. Here's what I mean. Let's say that you have your firearm concealed and you have to get into an altercation. Let someone someone comes up to you and shoves you and comes up and you don't have time to get to your weapon. Now, this could happen if you're not watching in the wrong place, and let's say that it did. Now, you have this as not your intention. You don't want to pull this thing out and you don't want to shoot someone, but now you're forced into a hand-to-hand situation. Someone else is showing up. Now, someone else can grab this. It can fall out. All kinds of things can happen. All right? So if you talk to law enforcement experts, they'll tell you that a gunfight starts at, I believe it's 25 yards, maybe 25 feet, but I think it's 25 yards. So what they're saying is that you need to be drawn and aimed in as fast as possible because the gap is closing quick if someone's running at you, closing very fast. All right, so the firearm, the consequences of a firearm can be very grim. Your integrity is going to be called into question if you shoot someone instantly when the police arrive. This is a dangerous situation. Now, to defend yourself, you have to remember that not everyone is armed. And a gun is an excellent equalizer because anyone can have power with it. But keep in mind, if you stay fit and you take care of yourself, this is the first line of self-defense, the very first line. Here's another problem. Let's say you pull out a gun and you shoot someone in self-defense and you're not in very good shape and you kill them, and then all of a sudden, for some reason, some witnesses say this or that, it wasn't quite necessary, now you're in prison. Out of shape with a whole bunch of people who are in very good shape. This is not good. So you have to think ahead. All right, I'm not trying to discourage anyone from a firearm. I'm a fan of that sometimes. I'm just saying you have to understand the downside when we're talking about weapons. Okay, so there's other implements we can use as well that are not so grim, right? Something like this. This is a hard polypropylene cast baton, very short. You have two ends, you could hit, you could do damage. One hit to the neck could knock someone unconscious. A smaller person could use this and do incredible damage. It's good for joint locks if someone grabs you. It's good for punching, hitting. You can do all types of things with it, okay? In India, in ancient India, they would call this a katakan. In Japanese, they would call it a kubaton, right? So there's many names for it, but it's pretty much just a short implement like this, usually blunt. In the ancient world, they would put brass caps on them sometimes, and they'd be made of wood usually, right? Or steel. Now, another good weapon, I approve of this one 100%. This is a paperweight, okay? Which it is. You're out there with a bunch of papers on a windy day at a picnic table, set it down, great paperweight. It could also be a plumb bob for leveling, right? It could be a lot of different things. So Nothing alarming about it if you have it in your pocket. People see the end of this sticking out. What's that? Oh, it's just a little handy tool I've been using for some work I've been doing. See? Not a problem. Now, in your hand, easily concealed, right? Learn how to conceal weapons. So we're sitting here, you have to throw your hands up, someone comes along, here it is. See? Now remember, in self-defense, if you have to throw your hands up, how did you get there? But if we pretend that we are there, what do? That's where we can start. So I like this because this is deadly. Here, it can cause serious injury here, here. Now, to the side of the neck, this is not something that you would hope you would not have to hit to the side of the neck with this, because this would be lethal, or to the temple, or to the eye potentially, right? Very dangerous, so we would want to attack the limbs and hit the body. Remember, we do not want to take a life unless it's absolutely necessary. And self-defense starts with good choices on how to get out of there before it happens. All right, so I like this one too, Paperweight. Check them out. Now, flashlight. This is a really good thing to have. For self-defense at night, there is nothing better than a flashlight. This is a self-defense flashlight, okay? If you see these little ridges on it, it's serrated, front and the back. Now there's another setting on this. This is the flash. Looks like the battery is a little low on this thing. Anyway, it has a very bright flash as the second setting. So at night, if you put this in someone's eyes with the heavy flash, they cannot see you. Gives you a time to get away, and it's temporary blindness. Now, if you don't believe me, buy one of these. They're cheap. Go to the hardware store. Self-defense flashlight. Self-defense flashlight. Shine it. Look in your eyes. I don't recommend it, but if you want to know how bright it is, you'll see. Afterwards, it still messes with you. Great thing to have. It's the baton and a light all in one, and in the dark, like I said, a flashlight in someone's eyes in the dark, there's nothing like it. That's the first line of a flashlight in self-defense, is the blinding aspect before any combat techniques come into play in the dark. During the daytime, it's going to stay concealed until it's too late for the opponent to realize you have it. They get hit, but it's not a fist. They don't know what it was, but they are hurt. And that's the danger in fighting. So, self-defense flashlight. All right, now, what about between the gun and the blunt weapons like this and the others that I described? What about blades? Now we take something like this. This is probably one of the most effective weapons I can imagine that would give someone a huge edge right away if they had no skill. It's very difficult to dislodge this. The only way you can do it is cut off the hand, okay, with a bigger weapon. Because to get control of a hand like this, even a little kid that was wiry, 9 years old, with one of these in his hand, he knows no martial arts. With this, he equals 15, 20 years of training. This is the worst thing to encounter at close quarter than anyone could imagine. This is for disemboweling. This is awful. All right, when it comes to fighting and how gruesome it is, this is sad. Think about the damage this could do. Now, the consequences of this are very grim. Like the firearm, the justice system is not going to smile upon this if you have to use this, okay? The blunt weapons are the way to go. The firearm, if you need it, okay, just understand the consequences. This, same thing. All right, what about something that's not as threatening but still bad? The stiletto. Now this is a specific curved blade. Check with your state. This state where I live in Oregon, this is legal. You just have to have it visible on a belt. fair enough. It just looks like a utility tool. It has a glass breaker for your window. Nice little tool, has a little clip, and it's a blade. All right. Hopefully you won't need it. But if you're thinking about consequence, remember, not everyone who's up to no good carries a gun. Remember that. Mace, I don't like it. It can spray back in your face. It can cause problems. Deployment, you have to have the nozzle right on a windy day, or the opponent can take it from you. Some men are immune to mace. I've met them in the military. They do exist. So if you found this video helpful on self-defense implements, click the like button. Even better, subscribe. All right, Seafood Les Clements out.